They understand some of the purpose a little bit more because it's not paying more bills, but they've reached a point where maybe they're empty nesters and they've got time to kind of work what they're doing, so they don't confuse activity with results. They're not doing it to keep busy for someone else, they're doing it for themselves. That's why everyone is a brand new, and it has to be thought that way. They're likely to stay longer if there's continuity, so why not? So I have a number of my people have people in their 70s and 80s, and I'm the only one who's pushing them and saying, can you have a conversation? Because you don't want them suddenly saying, I don't feel good, I'm going to quit tomorrow morning. You want to have some kind of planning in there, but the point is right. They're running expensive machinery and they're expert at it. Let them train somebody, but the answer is make sure that person feels they want to stay. They have to be willing to learn, and they will. That's the beauty of the research. Research says if you give me technology, I can use it, and I understand how it's working, I will learn it. And there's no difference between a 20-year-old and a 70-year-old. It's the same thing, but they have to see the purpose of it. The reason the young people do it is they're trying to reach out to the world. So Facebook's that way to do that. A person like my mom, she has no interest in getting on Facebook, so why would she want to learn it, okay? And so at that point, they learn to stop, okay? To give you an example of it, again, 25% of the workforce in 2024, it's not very far from now, 6 years from now, it's going to be over the age, it's going to be over the age of 50. It's the fastest growing group. So it's your hidden gem. In a world where we're having trouble getting workers, keep in mind, this is really the hidden thing that keeps us going. And they're going to have multiple careers where they can do all kinds of things. What some companies have learned to do is introduce a concept called phased retirement. So instead of saying, congratulations, you're going to be 65 next week, it's really good. Listen, you're cleaning out your desk, what, Thursday, we find a little party for you and you're out of here. Okay? And that's what companies do. So many companies have adopted this program called phased retirement. What they do is they transition to leaving work. And the way they're doing that is they're saying, maybe, and we'll go through detail a little bit more, you say, I want to leave, but I don't want to leave now, maybe in 3-4 years, but I maybe don't want to work full time, so I'm going to phase out. So I go from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And it needs HR to restructure the benefit packages and stuff like this, but every company that's doing it is reporting success. It doesn't work for the federal government with a benefit plan says if you work less than full time, you lose benefits. But for private companies, it can work perfectly. And that's the example. And then finally, the concept we're invented, and we're going to be launching this big, is called ShareXers. It's getting people with this expertise and experience to share it by mentoring other people in the company. So turn them into a different role. Let them work with innovation projects. They're going to see what worked and what didn't work. They're going to remember what didn't work, what other people don't. And let them become both entrepreneurs and intra, meaning in a company. Big companies could do this better, become entrepreneurial. So, just to give you some simple examples, CVS is now actively recruiting workers over 50. Why? Their quote, really, that 90% of Americans age 65 and older using drugs, or no more, and the result is they want to work with people who can understand them. And if we say, when you come in here, you'll get someone who can relate to you. You know, when do I take my medicine? How do I remember it? I travel a lot. They'll be able to work it. It works well. And they offer them all kind of alternative work arrangements, telecommuting, flex, job share. They compress the work week, so maybe you only work 3 days, but you work longer hours. Firemen, use the iceberg firemen. And they give whatever other ones. Another example is Starbucks. Starbucks has just introduced in Mexico. It's its pilot program. It has young people doing the training, but it's turning stores over only to people who are older. They work an average of 6.5 hours. They guarantee 2 days work each week. They get health insurance with medical bills, which, as you know, by Howard Schultz is a big issue with heart payments. Okay? Why? Because somebody in the company finally said, you know, we've been doing all this stuff for younger people and giving them a chance to get out. Why aren't we keeping places older where we have older populations to serve? Again, it's understanding your community. It is wisdom that's feeding, and it's working very well. And they make changes. They make changes by changing it. Instead of having multiple floors to go up and down, you put them all on one floor. You make changes, and that's what's really interesting. People aren't asking the question, how do we accommodate it? Look at this. This is the kind of chair you grew up in.
No.
Okay, think of all the ergonomic chairs. We've done that all for our workers, but we're not taking into account what the people need. It's all it is accommodation. How do we know that? BMW figured it out. They did a study several years ago, and they had 3 plants, and somebody had observed in HR that one plan, B, wasn't a success from productive as A and C. And so they did some research on it, and somebody came back, you have more older workers indeed. That's why. And I go, let's try to understand what's really happening. And so what they did is they launched for $50,000, launched the program. What they did is they made ergonomic changes. They laid softer floors. They installed chairs that rise. They changed the screen font size. Nothing here is big, right? This is just common sense now when you think about it. Special shoes so they wouldn't slip as much and they had more traction. You offer physical trainers for the workers. Net result is they had 7% increase over the other two in terms of productivity. But the proof of the pudding, and I'm a tough customer, I want to be proof. They recently opened up Spartanburg, and they chose that model for the new biggest plant in the United States. Okay? So that's why learning this kind of stuff makes a big difference, because it can make a difference. How many of you saw the movie The Intern? Okay, so I saw that and I got disgusted. Because I run mentoring internships where, in fact, today we just had we probably just signed on a new intern. We got over 650 interns all over the world, all kinds of ages. The point is, it's a learning experience where you respect the people. To think that the most important thing he could do in that thing was clean off a table and become a chauffeur is missing the point, okay? The point is older people can make many contributions, and that's where we need to be able to use our people. That's why share extras make good sense. They can come in and talk about the how and the why. So they can be part of your onboarding. Let me tell you about the real culture in this place and what you do and what's going to make a difference. Be involved with innovation, launching new divisions of the company. They can be advisors to different divisions of where the companies are. Here's a perfect example. John Chambers recently retired from Cisco, and Ken Chenault did the same thing from American Express. And there was a featured article in the Wall Street Journal, a whole page article, on how they're going around companies and advising them. They're share extras, exactly what our point is. Henry Kissinger is a share extra. He runs his own advisory business, but he's doing the same thing. So they can help also with new things, being entrepreneurs, guiding people on entrepreneurs. We're going to create an accelerator to help older people start their businesses and use all the business expertise that I have been sharing. Become advisors and obviously work with nonprofits. Encore and AARP have encouraged the nonprofits. I think that's great. The only problem is what I'd like to see them do is bring the smarts of business into nonprofits. I just heard someone quit his job in a nonprofit because he said they didn't understand we've got to be able to be as efficient and effective as possible because we can't always raise money. Some people get it, some don't. And then introduce phased retirement in the company stream. It's such a great concept because most of them, and for those of us who've gone through retirement, you know what I'm about to say, suddenly you get to the conclusion and you go, what the hell am I going to do for the next 30 years of my life? We've never thought about it, we've never trained. We spend more time trying to figure out which school we should go to for high school or college if you can get to one of them. And it really doesn't make it, I mean, Harvard, Wharton, and Yale really all that different, but millions of dollars being spent on differentiating. But 30 years of your life? No, we're not spending any time on it. That's what age bring. Solving that problem. Introduce phased retirement programs. Sit down, have the conversation, say what do you want to do. And what's real interesting is Mike, and this is anecdotal, but when they do this, what I've discovered is instead of phasing out, halfway in the middle they say, I'd like to stay doing this longer, I'm really enjoying it. And then they have more contributions to the company. You keep them in the same job, it's another option, but don't do that. You can do that, but the point is take them to a different level because it's not growth. And at the end of the day, they'll burn out. So people say, I'm going to leave them in the same job. So at some point, they're going to burn out. Why not try to raise it? Again, it's the learning, opportunity to learn. And these are examples, Steelcase, you all know, of great big companies who are doing this very successfully. Many benefits. The key one is you keep the people longer. Two, you provide really good training. It's part of the rule, by the way. They get this program, they have to dedicate sometimes 20% of their time to training younger people and being a mentor. So it's kind of, you don't have to fight for it because it's just part of the deal in doing it. They get extra income and they help encourage with the soft skills what really makes a sense. So put it all together, what have you got? It's real simple. We can create world-class companies in this country, but we can only do it if we understand who this 5-generation workforce is and get them to work together. Get rid of the stereotypes. Know that people want to be treated the way they want to be treated. Let's do it that way. They want to grow. That's why they got in the business. They want to have a sense of purpose. They want to use their passion. Encourage people to do that as much as you can. And ultimately, we've created another concept we call a silo, continuous improvement learning organizations. Become one. Figure out how to do this, get everyone to feel that when they do their job, the company benefits, they benefit, they grow, and it's a place that they can do this. And for other people too. Remember, at the end of the day, let's end ageism, because it's the only one that affects us directly. And with that, I thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know how long that was going to take to put it all together. Let's take 5 extra minutes, Elisa, just talk about. Any questions, issues?
You speak Mandarin?
Huh?
You speak Mandarin?
No, actually, the rule I just told them is if they give me 2 years in a row, I will learn Mandarin.